My name is Warren McDougal. I'm with Central Life Sciences, and I'm the Regional Sales Manager for the Central Plains.
Okay. Now, we're broadcasting, our affiliates are in the Northern Plains, but we store a lot of grain up north.
Absolutely.
And especially this year at the big harvest and the way things are in the markets, a lot of guys are storing some grain. So what's the best piece of advice you can give those guys as they're looking after those supplies for who knows how many months?
Yep. Well, it starts with the basics, and the basics being before they start filling that bin that they've cleaned it out. I mean, make sure that you can't see any remnants from what was in that bin prior.
Yep.
They should then do something as far as a preventative type treatment. We prefer recommending Diacon IGR Plus to spray down the interiors of that bin, to spray down that aeration floor, to around the doors.
Yep.
Try to provide a little bit of protection to that grain.
Yep.
Then it goes on to proper loading of that bin to make sure that we level the tops of the bins, make sure that we don't have fines accumulated in the center.
And that's something when you're harvesting, you can't take that for granted.
No, you can't, because all these things will contribute to bug infestations or maintaining the quality of that grain.
Yep.
And then no doubt the key that everybody thinks about is aeration. We got to get air on that grain. We got to get it cooled down. We want to keep it cold, because if we can keep it cold, we can minimize a lot of issues.
Yeah, we can keep that grain.
Yep. But then the big thing, and I think the thing that most folks fail to do, is monitor that grain, especially when we get into next spring. They get busy planting, doing all those things. We still have to take a little bit of time during once a month, once every couple of weeks, as that starts getting warm into next year, to monitor, to look for those problems before they get going.
Now, what exactly kind of little bugs and insects are guys looking for? What's the usual suspect or culprit?
Here again, it depends upon the commodity, depends on the locale.
Yep.
But in the north, it's primarily lesser grain borer. That's the number one nemesis, it and Indian meal moth, and they will typically infest our wheat crops and barley.
Okay.
Now with corn, that's a little bit different. It's more associated with the weevils and the lesser grain borers, but lesser grain borer is a number one.
Okay. If a guy finds this kind of a problem and he needs your help for maybe next season, where should he go? Well,
no doubt, one of the things that we try to encourage folks to do is when they're loading that bin, use a product like Diacon D. It's a dry product that goes into that grain at about 8 pounds per 1,000 bushel, so a truck is essentially 1,000 bushel. As we're loading that bin, we're including Diacon D. That is putting a protective product into that grain that will last them 12 to 18 to 24 months of protection, so that they can store that grain for a long period of time. Hopefully the markets will return to a more profitable position by that time.
I didn't know you had that kind of a halo of protection that long.
Absolutely. It lasts a long time, and especially up north where we're cooler.
Yep.
And we really only need protection during the warm months of the year. I mean, May through September.
Let's hope everybody did the right thing this fall.
Absolutely. That makes a huge difference.
All right. Well, thank you for your time here at Kansas City at the National Association of Farm Broadcasting. We appreciate it, Warren. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure talking with you.
You bet.